Alright, welcome. This is the sales introduction video. I'm going to be covering the whole sales modules, all of the sales videos. My name is Emil, and I've taken plus 1000 sales calls, both in the B2B and B2C industry. So I've made these documents to help you really just transcend in sales, make sure that you close the most amount of deals possible, also giving you the tools to actually get it right from the start, and then also for you to be able to develop on the skills on your own. Okay, hope that makes sense. So the whole introduction is that you're going to learn what sales is and what it isn't. We're going to clear up some common misconceptions about sales and focus on the key elements that make it effective in the B2B environment. Sales isn't about manipulating or pushing a product onto someone who doesn't need it. Instead, it's about understanding the needs of your potential clients, building relationships, and providing real value through your solutions. We'll explore how B2B sales focus on creating long-term partnerships rather than quick transactions, okay? So what is sales? Sales is, at its core, simply helping your clients make the right decisions. When you approach sales from the perspective of serving the client's best interest, the entire process becomes less about closing deals and more about providing value. If you focus solely on creating value and genuinely helping your clients solve their problems, you will make sales. And I can't stress this enough. Don't overcomplicate it. Just show up, be authentic, really have a genuine desire to help the client if you're able to help, and just use the whole sales conversation as a way of figuring out if you're able to help, how you're able to help, and really make sure that they understand what value that will bring to their business. While I teach you a specific framework of selling designed to help you ask skilled strategic questions that uncover the needs of your prospects and also positions you as the expert, you shouldn't overcomplicate it. The framework is a tool to guide the conversation, but the essence of sales is much simpler. Understand your prospects' needs and show them how your appointment setting service can help scale their business. That's it. That's how simple sales should be. Okay. So sales isn't manipulation. A common misconception about sales is that it's about pushing people into decisions they aren't ready to make or persuading them to buy things they don't need. In reality, effective sales, especially in the B2B space, is about building mutual trust and credibility. Your role is to listen carefully, ask the right questions, and guide the conversation towards a solution that works for both parties. For appointment setting, this means understanding that your prospect's time is valuable and their goals matter. You aren't trying to overwhelm them with more meetings. They are trusting you to bring them high quality, qualified leads that align with their business growth strategy. Okay. Sales is about problem solving. So every sale starts with a problem, whether your client is looking for a way to reduce costs, streamline operations, or improve productivity. Your job is to understand the problem inside and out. The most successful B2B salespeople are those who frame themselves not as sellers, but as problem solvers. They don't just offer a product, they offer a solution that creates measurable value. For appointment setting, the problem could be inefficient lead generation or a lack of time to manage the sales funnel. Your solution, delivering highly qualified, vetted leads directly to the business owner, allowing them to focus on closing and growing their business rather than chasing prospects. Focus on long-term relationships, not short-term gains. In the B2B world, sales are rarely a one-time transaction. You're not just selling a product, you're building a long-term partnership. And I really want you to remember this. That's why being authentic going into the sales conversations is extremely valuable. So this means that your relationship with your client doesn't end when the contract is signed. It's just beginning. When you focus on developing these partnerships, you gain the trust and loyalty that leads to repeat business, referrals, and strong reputation in your industry. Okay, so this is really key. You need to focus on providing solutions instead of just pushing people to buy something. And I can say this with full confidence. If you go into any sales conversation with questions prepared, a curious mind, and authenticity enough to also say no if you can't help, you will sell at least 25%, and probably even more with the framework that I will be sharing with you. So, two common things to use while selling is framing and labeling. Okay, in sales, the way you present or frame your offer and how you label certain situations, emotions, or decisions can have a powerful impact on the outcome of the conversation. Both framing and labeling are techniques designed to shape the client's perception of the situation, helping guide them towards the best decision, while also positioning you as an expert in the process. Framing is about how you present information to your prospects. It's based on the idea that the way you structure a conversation or offer can significantly influence how the other person understands and reacts to it. Think of it as creating a mental picture frame for your prospect, where you control what's in focus and what's not. In practical terms, framing means highlighting the most important aspects of your appointment setting service in a way that aligns with the client's values, needs, and goals. For example, when speaking to a business owner who is focused on growth, you might frame your service as a way to take time-consuming tasks off prospecting, the time-consuming task of prospecting off their plate, allowing them to concentrate on closing deals. Effective framing in appointment setting sales can shape perception by focusing on the most relevant benefits. You guide how the prospects view your offer. Simplify decision making. Clients are often overwhelmed by too many options or complex details. Framing helps streamline their thought process and also create urgency. If your product solves a pressing issue, framing it in the context of urgency can push the prospect to act sooner. Instead of saying our appointment setting service helps you get more meetings with potential clients, you could frame it as, with our appointment setting service, you'll secure 10 to 15 qualified appointments every month with business owners who are ready to scale, allowing you to focus on what you do best, closing deals and growing your business. By outsourcing this process, you'll eliminate the time spent chasing leads and focus entirely on high-value conversations, moving your business forward faster. All right, and I hope that you can see the difference in these two. What we do here is we frame it in the business owner's perspective, to the business owner's perspective, what they really want out of it. So that's why in the next video we'll also cover the parts of the sale. Here is also the discovery part, where you basically just ask questions. And we ask questions to really know what is the client's needs, what is the client's goals, to know how should we frame the pitch later on. And this is a perfect example of framing a very short pitch line, you could say, for a business owner who just wants to scale rapidly. Okay, so we basically just talk in terms of what the client wants instead of what we are best at, if that makes sense. So by outsourcing this process, you'll eliminate the time spent chasing leads and focus entirely on high-value conversation, moving your business forward faster. Okay, so solely focusing on what the prospect wants instead of what we are good at or what we want to talk about. I hope that makes sense to you. In the B2B space, where the stakes are often higher, effective framing means addressing the big picture concerns like return on investment, risk reduction, and long-term growth, while simultaneously painting a picture of how your solution fits into those broader objectives. Labeling is a technique where you identify and articulate the emotions or motivations your prospect is expressing, even if they hadn't said them outright. Okay, so it's a way of demonstrating that you truly understand what's going on beneath the surface of the conversation. By labeling what you sense your prospect is feeling, you create an immediate connection, build trust, and position yourself as someone who gets it. And we've all been in those situations where we are tired or overwhelmed, and our good friend or brother or mother says, "You seem a bit off today." Right? That's labeling. That's actually labeling, putting a label on someone's emotional state or the situation that they're in without them outright saying what state they're in. If you're good at labeling and you can correctly label that person's emotional state or the situation that you're in, you will they will immediately feel like they can trust you, like you know what they're going through, and you have an understanding of their situation. And the first part of helping someone is, of course, understanding where they are now and where they want to go. So I think that you can understand that if you are able to label people properly in sales conversations, they will feel like they can trust you. They will feel like you know what they're going through, where they are right now. And if you label them properly, they will most likely also feel like if you know where they are now and you get it, then you probably also know how they can scale from here. Okay. So labeling often begins with phrases like, "It sounds like you're feeling lost," or "It seems like you're concerned about the price," or "It looks like you're thinking about X, Y, and Z." So the key here is that you're not just parroting back what they said. Instead, you are actively showing empathy and demonstrating a deep understanding of their position. It helps to validate the prospect's feelings and concerns, which makes them feel heard and understood, a crucial element in any sales conversation. Okay? So why is labeling powerful in sales? It disarms defensiveness. When a prospect feels that their emotions or concerns are acknowledged, they're less likely to put up a wall and more likely to open up further. And you will experience this through sales conversations. The more you talk, the more the prospect's guards go up, and they are less likely to actually take what you say at face value. Because let's be real, you're the salesperson and they're the potential buyer. Of course, there is some kind of tension in most regards as to what are they going to sell me now. So if you can just be completely laid back, authentic, really just have a curiosity about you and a need or a want to help, and then you're also able to actually label where this person is right now, or where they want to go, or how they feel about where they are right now. If you're able to label that, they will feel like you understand them, and when you understand them, they are more likely to trust you. So it's really effective at disarming prospects, you could say. It also builds rapport quickly. You demonstrate empathy and understanding, which helps to create an environment of trust. And then it uncovers deeper issues, okay? So often the first problem a prospect expresses isn't the real issue. By labeling emotions, you can dig deeper into what's really driving their needs. So usually when you talk to people, you don't just go rant about your problems from the get-go. You need to feel like you can trust this person, that they understand what you're saying, that they don't just think that you are nagging or annoying to listen to. So when you actually show that you understand the prospect, they are more likely to open up about further problems, which will help you understand their situation better and also provide a better solution. For example, a prospect might say, I'm not sure if this is the right time to invest into a new solution. Instead of trying to counter that objection immediately, you could use labeling. It sounds like you're concerned about the timing and whether now is the best moment to make a big change. By doing this, you're showing that you understand their hesitation and inviting them to open up further about their concerns. So using framing and labeling together. Framing and labeling works best when used in pairs. Here's how you can integrate them into your sales process. So framing to control this conversation. From the outset, frame your conversation around the most pressuring needs of the client. Position your solution as the natural fit for their problem. Example, given that you're looking to cut operational costs by at least 15%, our service will help you reach that goal within 6 months. Usually labeling to dig deeper. As the conversation unfolds, listen closely to what the prospect is saying and label their concerns, emotions, or motivations. Example, it seems like you're worried about the upfront cost, even though you see the long-term benefit. And when you frame that as a question, it seems like you're worried about the upfront cost, even though you see the long-term benefit, then they will just naturally answer and also feel understood. Okay. Then you can also use frame to reframe objections. So once you've labeled a concern or an objection, you can reframe it in a way that addresses the underlying issue while also bringing the conversation back to the value you offer. An example could be, I completely understand. It sounds like you're hesitant because the initial investment seems high. But if we frame it in terms of ROI, the cost is recouped in under 3 months, and after that it's pure savings. So this isn't how I would say that you should objection handle. We're going to cover it a bit better later, but as you can see here, they are concerned about the initial investment, but in terms of the bigger picture, it's not that much compared to what they're getting out of it, the return they get on their investment. And if you effectively make the prospect see that in the frame of the bigger picture, then they are also more likely to actually make the initial investment because they can understand the bigger picture. You've effectively used your frame on them so they can see the bigger picture instead of just thinking about the initial costs. So this is sales introductions, labeling and framing, and then also what sales is and what sales isn't. See you in the next video.